success. I know the secret to all of your hopes and dreams, everything you want to accomplish. I know the secret. Do you want to know the secret, Elvis? You don't want to know the secret. Kelly, do you want to know the secret? Oh, come on, it's terrible. Chuck, do you want to know the secret to life and all of your hopes and dreams? Of course you do. I'm going to tell you the secret. Everyone stay with me now. The secret to life. All you got to do, all of your hopes and dreams, everything you want to accomplish, all you have to do is make a basket. All you have to do is make a basket. All of your hopes and dreams, everything you need in life, all you need to do is what?
Make a basket.
All of your hopes and dreams, all you have to do is what?
Make a basket.
Make a basket. Close your eyes. No cheating, close your eyes. Your neighbors aren't looking. Now imagine you're in a classroom. All the desks lined up in rows. You're sitting in the classroom looking forward. The teacher's desk is up front, all the blackboards behind them. Got it, everyone? Picture the classroom. All right, now open your eyes. Don't lose it, don't lose it. Welcome to class. You're now in the school of privilege in America. Now your teacher walks in today, grabs the wastebasket, and puts it in the front of the room. Now the cool thing about being in the school of privilege in America is that all of your hopes and dreams, everything you want to accomplish in life, all you got to do is what?
Make a basket.
Make a basket. And the cool thing about being at the school of privilege here in America is that everybody gets to take a shot. Everybody in class today gets to take a shot at the basket. All of your hopes and dreams. So your teacher walks in and tells you this is how class is going to go today. And the teacher calls up Timmy and says, Timmy, come on up and make a basket. So Timmy grabs the paper. Whoa! All my hopes and dreams, baby! Timmy just made the basket. So the teacher calls up Jacqueline and says, Jacqueline, come on up, make a basket. So Jacqueline grabs it, saunters up to the front of the room. Wait a minute! Not from there, Jacqueline. You gotta shoot from the other side of the room. See, there's a funny thing about the school of privilege in America. Everybody gets to take a shot. But nobody said you all get to shoot from the same place. See, privilege is a funny thing because the rules in this class say that where you get to stand depends on a lot of really weird things. Are you white? Are you black? How much money did you have growing up? Are you a man or a woman? Are you able-bodied or disabled? What kind of education did you have? What's your religious beliefs? What's your sexual orientation? Are you transgender? What kind of friends do you have? What's your social network? See, in the school of privilege, all of these things determine how close you get to stand to that basket to take your shot. And this is, remember, this is it. This is all of your hopes and dreams. Everything you want in life depends on whether or not you make that shot. And where you get to stand depends on a whole lot of really weird things. The concept of privilege first shows up in 1903. Social activist Webb Du Bois talks about the inequalities between African Americans and white people. And for that purpose, or for that moment in time, he realizes that there's so many social inequalities that exist based on privilege in America. And he coins the term in a series of papers he wrote of white wages. And at the time, privilege was really focused as a racial inequality, a social injustice in the early 1900s. And he realizes that white privilege or white wages are a set of intrinsic benefits that we receive just for being Caucasian. Better education, better access to jobs. He realized that sometimes just being white gave you the benefit of the doubt in certain situations. And this was the first time that we see privilege appearing as a concept of social inequality in America. And for the most part, for the next 70 or 80 years, it pretty much continues along this lines as a racial inequality concept. Until 1988, when Peggy McIntosh publishes a paper called White Privilege, Male Privilege. And she lists, as a white educated woman, 46 intrinsic privileges that she gets to take part of, positive things that she gets to take advantage of just because she's who she is. And suddenly, sociologists and psychologists just go crazy with the concept of privilege. And they realize that privilege is so much deeper than just a racial issue. Suddenly it becomes about, are you male or female? What kind of education did you have? How much wealth did you have growing up? What is your sexual orientation, your religious beliefs? Are you in the in-group or the out-group? Who do you know? All of these things become this feeding ground for sociologists and psychologists, and they start studying the human brain. And they start figuring out, how does privilege affect society? How does this really matter in today's world? And they learn all kinds of really crazy things, like there's a bias in how we see privilege. One person said, privilege is like running a marathon with a tailwind. You've got this invisible force that you can't feel, you can't smell, you can't sense, but you've got this invisible force that's just pushing you along, helping you to succeed. And what psychologists have figured out is that we typically tend to downplay the privileges that we have access to. If we grew up in a good family, if we had a positive father figure, if we had access to education, if we are male, if we're Caucasian, if we're in the majority group, these are all privileges that we get to take advantage of. If we're healthy, if we're young, if we're attractive, these are all social privileges. But we, as human beings, tend to downplay those privileges as if they mean that all of our hard work was less valuable. But the opposite is also true. Psychologists have figured out that we tend to elevate the privileges that we don't get access to. And so it really becomes this privilege problem in America, not that the privileges exist, and not that it's okay. Certainly no, social inequalities are not okay, but some of them are always going to be with us. The problem is, we get so focused on how far we're standing from the basket that we don't put our energy into taking the shots. It's so easy to get caught up with where our position is that we don't realize, I missed. Guess what? I can take another shot. I missed, but guess what? I can take another shot. And if you take enough shots, eventually you're going to hit the basket. But the privilege problem that I see is when we get so caught up in how far we are from the basket, we stop taking the shots. It's a perspective problem if we're not careful. And it's something that I really want us to focus on. Alphonse Karr said this in a beautiful way. He said, some people grumble that roses have thorns. I am grateful that thorns have roses. If we get caught up in how far away we are from the basket, we might end up never taking that shot. So I encourage you, no matter where you're standing in life, take the shots. Realize that it's okay that you had advantages. It's okay that you have disadvantages. Because all that matters, all that you want to do in life, all that you want to accomplish, you can get it. All you got to do is what? Make a basket. All you got to do is what?
Make a basket.
Make a basket. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters.